And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly fantastic day today. Welcome back, my people. It is Monday. That means it is time to give shouts outs to the people who gave super thanks throughout the week and read some comments. But before we do, let me give a shout out to the channel members. Shout out to Gary, aka G the Great One. Shout out to Dr. Les Barrett. Shout out to Thanos Snap Feminism, Keith Brazell, Charles Hookah, In the Groove 56. Shout out to Great Juice, Siberius, The Real Heisenberg, Mary Lewis, Adidas 20, Rike, Wizman Ballin, Vernon Lee Warren, and shout out to the newest member, Matt Parker. Thank you all so very much for supporting the channels and for being members of the channel. I truly cannot thank you enough. And without further ado, let's get into some super thanks. First up, shout out to Swan Daily. This is coming from my LeBron James has ruined all credibility for himself and for the NBA due to the fact that nothing about this guy is sincere, nothing about this guy is genuine, nothing about this guy is real, and he is constantly maneuvering and manipulating facts and history to try to benefit himself. And again, when the video evidence is out there that this guy is a complete fraud. Shout out to Swan Daily, comes through with the $2 super thanks. He said, did LeBron ever have credibility? Dude is essentially the Matrix Code in a 6'9" human body. If you examine a piece of his skin under a microscope, you'd see a bunch of green numbers. I take that as an insult. The Matrix is one of my favorite movies. Please don't compare the duck to the Matrix. But no, in all seriousness, did LeBron ever have any credibility? I think LeBron James had the benefit of the doubt when he first got into the league, but that was quickly eroded. And I would say the day he left Cleveland was the end of a lot of things for LeBron James. It was the end of his credibility. It was the end of his GOAT case. It was the end of him being looked at as a serious competitor in the game. It was the end of him being looked at as a true superstar in the sense that, again, to me, when I think of superstars, I think of someone who wants to lead their own team as the main guy, not go join up with other main guys. So, did LeBron ever have credibility? I think he had the benefit of the doubt, and that is completely gone. But, for some people, maybe he never even had the benefit of the doubt. Again, it was clear that this guy was manufactured from the beginning. This whole chosen one thing is, again, has been the biggest scam in the history of sports. But anyway, shout out to @Swan Daily. Thank you so much for the $2 super thanks, and thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel. Next up, shout out to @TheReal Siberius. This is coming from my Michael Jordan was drunk and scored 30 points by halftime. This was a story by former Michael Jordan teammate Craig Hodges. He says, Jordan returning to the NBA in any capacity is the absolute worst thing that could happen to LeBron and his fanboys. And I love it. All the players that said LeBron is the GOAT stops. All of the LeBron glazing stops. The media disrespecting Jordan and dismissing his accomplishments stops. The GOAT is about to be back in the building and everything will change. All of the so-called alphas in this era are about to shut up and grovel. A true alpha puts the pack in line and he is the top dog. Jordan doesn't come back for nothing. He has to be pissed. Yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot of what you're saying here. Now, the reason Jordan's coming back, I really would like to know that. Now, my personal feeling that the reason Jordan is coming back is because Jordan loves the NBA and he's trying to help out in any way possible, and Jordan knows the shape that the NBA is in, so he's trying to lend his support to getting the NBA back to a better place. But yeah, everything you're saying about Jordan being in the public eye on any kind of regular basis or semi-regular basis, or whether it's once a week or once a month or once every couple of months, is the worst thing that could happen for LeBron. Like I said, LeBron James should have retired. He messed up by saying he's going to go ahead and play next year. He should have retired, because with Jordan being here, it's going to be a constant reminder of all the things that LeBron James is not. It's going to be a constant reminder to LeBron James of what it looks like when someone is actually respected. It's going to be a constant reminder to LeBron James of what it looks like when someone is actually revered. It's going to be a constant reminder to LeBron James of what it looks like when people actually want to hear what you have to say, like really want to hear it, not just want to hear it because of who you are, but wants to hear it because of what you have to say, because they know that what you say is worth something. And more importantly, or not more importantly, it's going to be a reminder to LeBron James that he is far from the GOAT. You know, it's going to be like reliving that 75th anniversary on a more frequent basis. That's what it's going to be like for LeBron James, is reliving that 75th, the top 75 celebration over and over again, where he has to see, like, everybody knows this guy is the GOAT. I mean, essentially, the top 75 celebration, that's what happened there. For those who didn't know, players and or fans, when Michael Jordan walked in the building, it was like, everybody knows who the GOAT is. All of a sudden, with all the media talk going on and everybody yapping their gums about this current generation of players and how skilled and how great they are, and the constant media barrage of false narratives, it's like just the sight of Jordan walking in the building, everybody had a moment of clarity. Like, this is the GOAT. This is what it's going to be for LeBron James in the 4 and 6 kingdom. I told you guys, get your affairs in order. You guys got a hard year coming up next year, and you better believe I will be covering every bit of it. If you don't like my channel now, which I kind of find it hard to believe since you guys seem to tune in so regularly, LeBron James fanboys, but if my channel upsets you now, I would suggest you unsubscribe for next year. Anyway, shout out To at the real Siberians, thank you so much for the $2 super thanks. Thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel. Next up, shout out to at Matt Parker 5541. He comes through with about a $2 super thanks. And this is coming from my What Viewers Have to Say About LeBron James last week. And he says, thanks for the shout out. Uncommon at 852 super thanks is in rupees because I'm from India. Shout out to you. Shout out to India. Love your content, brother. I always kept saying LeBron just doesn't have the fundamentals to be in the same sentence as an MJ or Hakeem. This bum has a video working out. Really? There's a video of LeBron James working out with Hakeem? I'm going to have to go find that. But anyway, it says this bum has a video working out with Hakeem in the post and just looks lost. I'm sorry. I can't imagine. I got to find this video because I really can't imagine someone with footwork as bad as LeBron James having ever been in the same building with Hakeem. But if LeBron James actually got with Hakeem to learn footwork, you know what this means, LeBron James fanboys? This guy doesn't have great IQ at all. This guy can't have high IQ at all because he obviously didn't retain anything that he learned from Hakeem Olajuwon because his footwork is atrocious. Oh man, okay. I'm sorry. This blows my mind. As soon as I finish with this video, I got to go find this video. I'm very curious to see this. But anyway, shout out to Matt Parker. Thank you so much for the $2 super thanks. Thank you so much for becoming a member, and thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel. Next up, shout out to at Sean Hammett 5760. This is coming from my Michael Jordan coming back to the NBA video. He comes through with the $2 super thanks, and he simply says thanks. Hey, thank you very, very much for the $2 super thanks, and thank you for your support of the channel. Next up, shout out to at Trey04Will. This is coming from the same video, Michael Jordan coming back to the NBA. He comes through with the $2 super thanks. He says, thanks. This news for LeBron James might be worse than the criticisms of his sorry performance after the 2011 finals with several laughing emojis. Yeah, this is really, really bad news for the 4 and 6 Kingdom. Again, I said in the video, I don't expect Michael Jordan to get up and slam the current NBA because that's not who Michael Jordan is, in the sense that he always looks for the positive. Again, you know, one of the things that really that I took something from was the way he talked about the death of his father. And he said, you know, even with that, I looked to the positive and said, well, hey, I got to have him for 30-something years, 32 years, or however old Michael Jordan was when he passed. But he said, I got to have him for that amount of time. And so, you know, that really, I took from that to really try to see the positive through everything, even things that are really hard to deal with. It's trying to find a positive angle. So that is Michael Jordan, the person who's always trying to find the positive. So I don't expect him to trash the modern NBA, but I also don't expect him to cap. Again, this is when they were trying to say Steph Curry was better than Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan texted Stephen A. Smith right on air and said, look, we can't do this. Steph Curry is not better than Magic Johnson. So I expect Michael Jordan to be positive, but not capping. But at any rate, again, like I said, this is terrible news for the 4 and 6 Kingdom. just for the simple fact that they're going to have to be reminded on a constant basis. I mean, you hear how people talk about their encounters with Michael Jordan. You hear how people say he doesn't look real. He looks like he's glowing. They can see his aura. It looks like he's levitating. You hear people say all these things. And fanboys, you are going to have a constant reminder of what it looks like when somebody is really revered. Like I said, this is really bad for the 4 and 6 kingdom. This is going to make, however long LeBron James decides to play, if he plays another 2 or 3 years, and this thing with NBC for Michael Jordan is going to be ongoing, it's going to make the last days of LeBron James in the NBA very hard for him to deal with. We're probably going to see some really outrageous things. He's really going to be acting out in his last years, trying to deal with being confronted on a regular basis with the real GOAT. He's going to really be acting out, because he started acting out this year because the whole Bronny James and JJ Redick situation backfired against him. So I feel like this has been LeBron James acting out. This whole beef with Stephen A. Smith and going on podcasts and saying ridiculous stuff. This is LeBron James acting out like a child who acting out like a child who got exposed. Acting out like a spoiled brat who got exposed. You know, because things didn't go his way. He thought he was going to be able to bring Bronny into the league and everybody was going to be on board. Like, this is amazing. The first time an NBA player and son has played together on the same team, and people were like, what? This is not even real. Like, this kid ain't even good enough to be in the NBA. This doesn't count. And so, yeah. But anyway, we could go on. But shout out to @Trey04Will. Thank you so much for the $2 super thanks. Thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel. Next up, shout out to the Dr. 3196. This is coming from my Gilbert Arenas. Says Michael Jordan isn't a hater like his fans. And he says Gil has money supposedly, but he doesn't have enough. He also feels unfulfilled in his own life, so he gets online and hates. Like what he said about Hakeem's Dream Shake being garbage. Yeah, Gil need to... Yeah, you lose all credibility when you say something like that. As if Gil hadn't said a million things to lose all credibility. But that is ridiculous. But anyway, he says, Michael Jordan is the GOAT. He feels almost content with what he's done, that he was able to leave without a farewell tour in '98 despite wishing he could have gone for a 7th ring. He doesn't have to argue with Nick Wright and follow trends like Isaiah. He chose NBC for a reason. That is his network. He didn't sell out with ESPN and Fox. So no, Gil, he's not a hater. He's not a podcaster. He's a legend. Facts, and more facts. Yeah, I mean, I think that is the thing. You know, LeBron James fans, I love to pick on you guys because you're ridiculous. But if you don't take anything else away from the Dr. 3196, his statement, his paragraph, his comment, if you don't take anything else away from it, you should take the sentence about Michael Jordan being content with what he's done. He said almost content, and this is facts because Michael Jordan himself says he wished he could have gone for a 7th ring. But in terms of what he did while he was playing, Michael Jordan is content with that. And this is why Michael Jordan doesn't have to come out and defend himself. This is why Michael Jordan didn't have to start a media company to go out there and promote narratives about himself. This is why Michael Jordan has so much more respect than LeBron James. But even more importantly, LeBron James fanboys, the opposite is true for your king. LeBron James spends all his time and money and effort trying to create narratives to boost himself up because deep inside, he is not content. He's not content with what he's done. Because when you're content, you don't spend your time defending it. When you feel good about what you've done, then you can rest easy because it's like, well, you know, I know for a fact that I did what I did to the very best of my ability, and I don't have to defend that to anyone. But when you get defensive about it, it's because you know that there is truth to what people say about you. Because you know that you didn't take the route that could have gotten you where you wanted to be. You know this deep inside. LeBron James knows it, and the LeBron James 4 and 6 Kingdom know it. All you guys who get in my comments never address anything I said in the video. Never. Never address anything I said in the video. You simply go to name calling. You want to talk about me and, you know, and all the, of course, hater, the fanboy anthem. You want to talk about everything but address what I said in the video. When I say flopping is cheating and this alone disqualifies your king from GOAT talk, you won't address that. I wonder why. Because there's nothing to address. What are you going to say? You're going to tell me flopping isn't cheating? Is that what you're going to tell me? There's nothing you can say about what I say in the videos. And again, what this goes back to is if you were content, if LeBron James was content, he wouldn't have to beg for his respect. He wouldn't have to call himself the GOAT. You know, he would be okay with where the chips lay, because he'd say, hey, I did what I did and I did the very best I could. But LeBron James can't do that because in his heart, he knows he's been resting on his laurels. He knows that he's been resting on his natural talent versus maximizing his potential. But hey, you know, you fanboys, I know you're not gonna learn, but but please keep showing up, because I mean, I tell you what, I never ever get tired of laughing at you. I can promise you that. It might seem unbelievable that I never get tired of laughing at you, but it's really amazing to me, because every time you show up, I really think to myself, like, how long can they keep doing this? Like, really, for a guy that you don't know at all, how long can you keep doing this? How long can you keep showing up, calling me a hater? You know, it's really it's amazing to me. So, you know, please stay subscribed. Shout out to the Doctor 3196. Thank you so much for the $5 super thanks. Thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel. Next up, shout out to the Real Siberius. This is coming from the same video from Gil's Arenas. He says, I genuinely believe the biggest struggle we face today, not only in America, but in the world as a whole, is a complete lack of critical thinking. The ability to look at information objectively and evaluate and analyze the validity of it. If critical thinking were utilized within the realm of the modern era of the NBA, I think it is pretty easy to see unequivocally that the game is sorely lacking in basic fundamentals, competition, integrity, heart, and sportsmanship. Yes, facts, all of those things. says, "This isn't simply my opinion. This is clearly visible for all to see if you are willing to look beyond your own bias and look at the situation for what it is and not for what you want it to be. Without critical thinking, it is easy to create narratives that align with your perception rather than facts that align with the reality. Being able to dismiss your illusions or preconceived notions isn't easy. It takes dedication and hard work, but even more so than anything else, it takes a willingness and desire to do so. It isn't about being right or wrong. It is about being objective and not blinding yourself to the truth, even if the truth isn't what you want it to be." Now, this is a very well-written, thoughtful comment. And, I hope that this comment, some of the younger generations, I hope that you guys listen to this comment and take it to heart, because this is facts. All I can think is I know fanboys didn't hear one word of what I said or didn't comprehend one word of the comment I just read. But this is facts. This is about getting past, like I said, getting past your own biases. We all have them. And really, I would say that this is like about self-honesty. It's like, how honest can you be with yourself? Because if you can't do that, you can't begin to get past your biases. I think it's like all comes down to the modern society that we live in is so selfish. And this is why people can't and are unwilling to even try to get past the biases, because everything is so self-serving. If it doesn't serve their illusion or delusion, they are not willing to, they don't want anything else to be true. So they're not willing to try to get past that because they simply don't want to. They want to continue with anything that is self-serving. This is why, again, on a serious note, this is why it is important that people see the truth about LeBron James. For me, LeBron James is just a vehicle to demonstrate to the younger generation qualities that you don't want to exhibit in life. Again, I've said this over and over. It is not about LeBron James, the name. It is about his character and what he represents. It is about the character traits that he demonstrates that are just not good character traits to have. He is exactly what we're talking about. The not being able to be objective, because everything LeBron James does is self-serving. And I said, LeBron James fanboys, you guys are a direct reflection of LeBron James, because you guys are the same way. You guys would want to receive full credit for cheating as someone who didn't cheat. You guys would want to be looked at in the same way, even though you took shortcuts to get there. This is why you guys defend your king so hard, because you guys would want that same treatment. If you guys, again, I said if LeBron James found some kind of way to steal he did steal championships, but purchase championship trophies, or he would do that, and fanboys would back him. They're like, oh, LeBron James just paid $2 billion to receive 5 more championship trophies, so now he has 8.5 championships. And fanboys would defend that. They would be like, oh, we don't care how he got them. We don't care that he bought them. He has them. So surely that makes him the GOAT. But again, it's all self-serving. You LeBron James fanboys, you guys defend him because, it's the same way that any unaccountable person defends another person when they do wrong. It's not because that person genuinely has interest in defending that person. What they are is defending that person's actions because it justifies their own wrongdoing. This is what you fanboys are. You know, despite being in love with LeBron James for some weird, because you guys do have some kind of weird relationship with LeBron James. This is anyway. Let's move on. Shout out to At The Real Siberius. Thank you so much for the $2 super thanks, and thank you so very, very much for your continued support of the channel. Next up, shout out to At Swan Daily again, coming through with the $2 super thanks, and this is coming from There Is No Way Shannon Sharp really believes LeBron James is the GOAT after he was on Nightcap gushing about Michael Jordan and how unreal it is to meet him in real life. There's no way Shannon Sharp really believes that. He says, I feel like WGN died after Jordan retired. I forgot that it was a top channel back in the day. I mean, I would say that's what it feels like to me because WGN used to have a lot of shows on that network too. The one I can think of didn't, and someone correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but didn't the Wayans Brothers show start off on the WGN network, or maybe they were just airing it or whatever. But yeah, it feels like, you know, when the Bulls were done, WGN was done. But that could also be too that, you know, I don't have cable anymore, as many people don't, because a lot of people just have a bunch of streaming services. That's what I have as well. So it could be that as well. But anyway, shout out to At Swan Daily. Thank you so much for the $2 super thanks and your continued support of the channel. Next up, shout out to At Roland Curtis off Exploiting the 30s. Oh no, At Roland Curtis off Expoing in the 30s. This is coming from my MJ Hater says Michael Jordan has no case to be the GOAT. And unfortunately, this was about Clyde Frasier. Yeah, like I said, I really hate to, I don't like putting people in the hater category or the jealous category, but to me, it is clear that Clyde Frasier has that for Michael Jordan. He has some jealousy for Michael Jordan. But anyway, he comes through with the $2 super thanks. He says, Walt Frasier is just sad. Look at how he dresses. He is desperate for attention, and I hate that we have to give it to him. He is one of those people who is sore that LeBron James fell flat on his face after 22 years. Frasier is one of those people who hates that after 22 years, LeBron James completely failed to even make a fake non-existent fantasy GOAT case. So now clowns are running back to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bill Russell, Oscar Robertson, Wilt Chamberlain, and likely the late great Kobe Bryant. Look at how he dresses, and he dresses like this. And he dressed like this back in his playing days, before a lot of us were born. So this Walt Frasier has been chasing clout before the phrase or term clout chasers was created. Now here lies the key to Walt Frasier's comments, and I don't think that it has much to do with on-the-court basketball business. He used to be known for his fashion until, Michael freaking Jordan. Michael Jordan's suits and fashion choices became a thing of cultural GQ legend, while Walt Frasier's suits and fashion choices has always been an item of mockery and bewilderment. I was not born at the time, but when I used to study NBA history, I remember that Walt Frasier was known for only two things: showing out in the NBA Finals game or entire final series back in the 1970s, and Walt Frasier was known for his weird oddball suits. Point blank, period. And then Michael Jordan's sports shoes. Air Jordans literally shut the shoe game down since 1984. over 40 years, but it's really about the love and adoration that Michael Jordan received for his GQ fashionable suits versus the mockery and ridicule that Walt Frasier received for his quirky oddball clown suits. All due respect to the elder Walt Frasier, but many people don't know how much his suits and fashions meant to Walt Frasier, and how Frasier and Michael Jordan's opposite fashion senses were received and treated very differently by both the NBA and the general public. Shout out to @Roland Curtis off Expo in the 30s. Wow, that's something I'm gonna have to look into. That is very interesting. That's very interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that. Like, this is the first time I've even heard anything about that. I mean, obviously, it's clear to anybody who's seen pictures of Walt Frasier that, you know, his fashion choices are interesting, to say the least. But yeah, like I said, I never knew this, so I'm gonna have to check into this. Shout out to @Roland Curtis off Expo in the 30s. Thank you so much for the $2 super thanks, and thank you so very much for that comment and your continued support of the channel. Next up, shout out to @Trey04Will. This is coming from the same video. He comes through with the $5 super thanks. He says, thanks. Interesting that MJ never called himself the GOAT, but one guy did, and Clyde has no smoke for him. Clyde, go SYAD. That is very interesting. That's a good point as well. Shout out to @Trey04Will that Clyde is very busy, because there are several articles of Clyde, over the years of talking down on Michael Jordan. But yeah, for the guy who called himself the GOAT, you got no smoke for this guy? It's very, very interesting. But shout out to @Trey04Will. Thank you so much for the $5 super thanks. Thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel. Next up, shout out to @Swan Daily again. And this is coming from the same video about Clyde Frasier, Walt Clyde Frasier. He comes through with the $2 super thanks. He says, I love how my guy omits the fact that Michael Jordan has the greatest points per game average in NBA history. I would argue that means more than being the leading all-time scorers. Having the highest points per game average shows a strong level of consistency, where the latter stat could easily be attributed to playing longer. In tandem with that, Jordan's points per game average would be higher by a long shot if he didn't play for the Wizards those 2 years. And he earned this points per game average while making first team all defense for 60% of his career. Facts. Yeah, this is something very interesting. I always find that the LeBron people, I mean, let's call it what it is. The people who are in favor of LeBron for whatever deplorable reasons that you can come up with, these are the people who seem to not understand that points per game means that you were more dominant on a nightly basis. And for the life of me, I really cannot fathom or understand people who even bring up all-time scoring. Like, that is a stat that I would never ask for about anybody. That is a stat that I would never look up. Like, I want to know how much you average per game. Again, I always say this. If you were playing street ball, pickup ball, and you walked into a park and you're about to select your team and and the two best players out there, you had to choose between those two, and one of them was like, oh, well, this guy, he's been out here for 50 years and he averages 20 points per game, but he has like 50,000 points because he's been out here playing for 50 years. And the other guy's been out here playing for 10 years, but he averages 40 points a game. It's like, who are you choosing? Oh, well, I want the guy that's been out there for 50 years. That is ridiculous. Not one person would choose that guy if they're trying to win. Not one. Not even you fanboys. Unless it was LeBron James, because I believe that you guys would be willing to lose for LeBron James. I'm certain of it, because you're already losers. I'm certain you would be willing to lose for LeBron James because you're already losing. You're losers, and you lose every time you show up here. So, besides LeBron James fanboys, there's not one person who's going to choose the person who's been playing longer just because they have a certain amount of accumulated points. Everyone is going to say, oh, this guy averages 40 points a game. It's a no-brainer. Because you're trying to win games. This is what it comes down to. You're trying to win games. You're trying to win individual games on a game-by-game basis. So this whole people who get into this all-time scoring thing, it's ridiculous to me. Like I said, these are stats that I would never look up personally. Like, I don't want to know. I actually don't care. Again, we were never considering this as part of GOAT status when Kareem had the all-time leading scoring record. Like, it was just something that they would bring up to help honor Kareem, to help shine a light on Kareem's career, when they were talking about him, as a show of respect, to bring up the great collection of things that he has done in his career. But it was never like, oh, well, yeah, he's an all-time leading scorer, so he's the GOAT. It was never, ever that. Now, no one ever even had that thought. Again, who goes and looks up all-time scoring records, except now that we've been in the LeBron James era and they have tried to shift the narrative to that. No one cares what you've been able to do over the years. I want to know what you are doing on a night-to-night basis. That's what makes you the best scorer. But anyway, shout out to Ed Swan Daily. Thank you so much for the $2 super thanks. Thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel. And next up, shout out to @InTheGroove56 coming through with the $2 super thanks. And this is coming from the same video about Walt Clyde Frasier. He says, this is just a quick diversion to close the case and keep the debate ongoing. Clyde Frasier was identifying the greats during his tenure and using stats to justify his opinion, but what he didn't say is LeBron has a case. During his era, and as we all have observed, without a big man in the middle, a guard wouldn't be able to lead a team to the promised land. What disturbed me about these comments was, when has MJ made a case about being the GOAT? Facts. MJ told you that he wasn't afforded the opportunity to play against those before him. The world of sports bestowed MJ as the GOAT and set the standard and the criteria with includes excellence in all phases of basketball. Facts. The fans, past and present, along with the players, have served as the governing body. I'm sorry, Mr. Frasier, you've been hoodwinked by the 4th Kingdom. But don't worry, your opinion, just like the fanboys, will meet the fate of Roto-Rooter and away go your opinions down the drain. Facts. Shout out to @InTheGroove56 coming through with a great comment about this ridiculous statement by Walt Clyde Frasier. But this is facts. It's like, for him to say, it's like, when has Michael Jordan ever tried to make a case for him being the GOAT? This hasn't happened. So again, and I want to say this because I was watching this video just the other day that was basically trying to disprove the fact of Michael Jordan calling himself the GOAT. And, you know, it's funny to me that people have no ability to make distinctions between different scenarios. It is one thing when you are with other competitors and trash talking. It is another thing when you are in front of a microphone declaring it to the world. And all of the examples this guy gave of MJ so-called claiming that he was the greatest was all in reference to him trash talking with other players. Fanboys, please go back to school or do something. Like do something to help with your ability to look at situations and understand how they are different. You getting on the microphone and declaring to the world you are the greatest is different between you being with the competitors that you're competing against and talking trash by saying that you're the greatest. These are two different things. One is being a competitor. The other one is showing that you have no humility at all. These are two different things. But somehow, again, you know, I'm sure whoever did that video was probably a fanboy. But again, you guys are so desperate to try to find anything on Michael Jordan because there's really nothing to find. But shout out to @InTheGroove56. Thank you so much for the $2 super thanks. Thank you so very, very much for your continued support of the channel. Next up, shout out to @TheDoctor3196 again. This is coming from my Steve Nash exposes LeBron James versus Kobe and Michael Jordan's mindset. He comes through with the $5 super thanks. He says, Tory, okay, so he's talking about, I played a clip of a young YouTuber who does reaction videos, and this YouTuber, he was once a LeBron James fan, and now you can tell like he's disgusted by a lot of LeBron James stuff. And the clip that I played he was reacting to a Scap Attack video, and you could tell this kid was just like really ashamed and disgusted with LeBron James in this clip. So the kid's name is Tory Sama. That's TORIESAMA. So if you want to go look him up and give him a like and subscribe, please do so. But so he says, Tory is really having a revelation right now. Moreover, the algorithm is favoring the exposure of the Reuter. Fanboys, it has finally begun. Some of y'all are finally learning the truth, but also getting views and money off LeBron's mountains of compilation videos over 20 years. A lot of y'all kept saying, what are you haters gonna do for content once LeBron leaves? Your own people are switching teams now and making content against him before he even retires. So do yourself a favor and start reacting to the flop videos. Make some coins off of them. No judgments here. Shout out to @TheDoctor for always having great comments and always giving LeBron James fanboys the business. But I'm trying to tell you, LeBron James fanboys, like you guys, the kingdom is crumbling faster than even I thought it was gonna crumble, to be honest. Like I've been on YouTube for about 2 years now, and within the first few months, you know, I was telling you guys that, hey, once your king retires, it's over. This is not my own personal opinion. This is my observation of what these kind of behaviors get you. You can look in history throughout time and see people who have behaved in the way that LeBron James does. Basically, just people who cheat the system, and you can see the same thing happen over and over again. If your legacy is built on a foundation of lies, it will crumble. So I tried to warn you guys very early on, but When I was saying this 2 years ago, I had no idea it was going to happen this fast. I'm going to be honest. But, you know, LeBron James himself is responsible for expediting this process. Because I did say this year, LeBron James took it too far. He took it too far so that even people who were once blind members of the 4 and 6 Kingdom, even people who were capping as hard as they could possibly cap for LeBron James, people who had plenty of knee pads, a lot of these people, LeBron James pushed it too far. And it's like, how can we keep capping for you when the whole world is laughing at us now? And he got his son a job in the NBA who clearly wasn't ready. He got JJ Redick a coaching job, and people were just like, okay, okay, LeBron, you win. You have no respect for the game. You have no respect for your fans because you wouldn't put us in this position if you respected us as fans. You wouldn't respected us as fans. You wouldn't put us in a position to have to try to defend it. So a lot of hardcore LeBron James fans are turning, and more people are coming out with the truth, and more of the younger generation, like I said, are watching videos, Scap Attack and Angry Old Hoops and Uncut Hoops. If any of you guys are watching, check out 93Z. But they're watching these people expose LeBron James, and they're starting to see the light. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Like, once you see this guy who you've been looking up to and you notice his over-exaggeration, his flopping, his obsessive whining, you know, his overacting, who's supposed to be a tough guy. Because really, this is what we're talking about, right? The superstars, you can equate them to tough guys. Like Michael Jordan, he's a tough guy. He's tough. Kobe is tough. Larry Bird was tough. Magic Johnson is tough, and Kareem, and anybody you can know. But so these things that LeBron James does is soft. It's super soft. And once you see that and you listen to people talk about why this is unacceptable, once the people in the younger generation watch these videos and listen to people point out the traveling and all these things, they start to feel like ashamed and disgusted that they ever thought this guy could be the GOAT. It's like, wow, man, how was I this delusional? So, you know, LeBron James fanboys, your time is limited. LeBron James fanboys, you guys talking about what we as content creators are going to talk about when LeBron James retires. What are you going to do? Your time is the one that's limited, not ours. Your time is the one that's limited because this delusion that you're living in is not going to last. You are the ones that's on limited time. Because here's the truth. First of all, once LeBron James retires, basketball still exists. So there will be other players to talk about. We can still talk about the game in general. And guess what? We will still be talking about LeBron, because one thing we know for sure is whenever LeBron James retired, he's not going to be quiet. He's an idiot. He's still going to be running his mouth. He's still going to be on Twitter. He's still going to be caught on video saying ridiculous things. He's probably going to start going on more podcasts. This guy does not know how to shut up. So there will always be LeBron James content. There will be basketball content to talk about. But what are you guys going to do once the kingdom crumbles? You guys are the one who are on borrowed time. You guys really need to seriously think about that. I mean, you know, I'm laughing, but it's not funny. You guys are going to be in a crisis. So, I mean, really sit down and think about your life and what you're going to do when the world backfires on you. Anyway, shout out to At the Doctor 3196. Next up, shout out to Swan Daily. This is coming from the same video about Steve Nash exposing LeBron James' mindset against Kobe and Michael Jordan. He comes through with the $2 super thanks. He says, is it to be great or to have people praise you for being great? This is why I keep coming back to this channel. To be honest, I had the LeBron James mindset until the last year or two. I guess it's a product of being a millennial. Watching your channel has helped me break out of it. Shout out to @Swan Daily. And I tell you what, man, comments like this is what makes it worth it. This is why I do the channel. I do the channel mostly for the younger generation so that we can point out the ridiculousness of LeBron James. So we can point out this ridiculousness in everything that he does. Like I said, because at the core of it all is when you LeBron James fanboys try to say, oh, well, he's a billionaire and he's this and this and what have you done? At the end of the day, none of that matters. Because what matters is LeBron James hasn't accomplished what he wanted to. He wanted to be the GOAT. There's no way around it. That's what he wanted, and he didn't accomplish it. And there's various reasons of why he didn't accomplish it. He cheated the game. He has poor character. He thinks he can have his cake and eat it too. He thinks he can do whatever he wants to do and just simply flip the narrative to be in his favor. And he has found out didn't work. But anyway, shout out to @Swan Daily. Thank you so much for the $2 super thanks and your continued support of the channel. And he comes through again, Swan Daily again, with another $2 super thanks. And this is from the same video. And he says, whenever people chase clout, it's never sustainable. So many of these rage baiters on the internet fall off after a few years. Likewise, we started seeing the long-term ramifications of LeBron's clout chasing exploits this year. In a single year, guy went from heavily celebrated to heavily criticized. I expect the fall off to continue tumbling down. Yeah, this is a fact. We are just witnessing the beginning of this. And this goes just back to what I said, that this year LeBron pushed it too far. This year LeBron's ego got the best of him. LeBron got to a point to where he literally felt he could do no wrong. Part of it is you fanboys' fault. You guys are partly to blame because you guys defend him no matter what he does. So you guys in the mainstream media who props him up no matter what he does, they have to list a long list of BS good traits, because there really are no good traits, but they have to say, oh, he's a great father and great this and what he's done for this and blah, blah, blah. It's all cap because everything LeBron does is self-serving. But people who continue to not hold this guy accountable, you guys are responsible for LeBron James' ego getting so big that he thought he could pull the ultimate move with no consequences to his public perception. He really, again, I'm not going to go back into it, but he really thought he could get his son and JJ Redick in his position. And like I said, I believe JJ Redick was actually brought in to handle the Bronny situation. That is what I truly believe. I do not believe it had anything to do with him potentially having great coaching skills or whatever. I think it was solely because what other coach were they going to get in there that was going to put up with their Bronny situation? It sure wasn't Darvin Ham. But anyway, shout out to @Swan Daily. Thanks so much for the $2 super thanks and for your continued support of the channel. Next up, shout out at Dread For Ya. Coming through with the $10 super thanks. And he says, thanks. It's not that MJ and Kobe didn't care what folks thought because they wouldn't have played the game the way they did. In LeBron's case is when he realized he couldn't take Cleveland to a championship because he didn't have enough to motivate his teammates like Jordan did. People talk about who did LeBron have. Well, who did Jordan have outside of Pippen? Facts. I mean, who on the team during the Bulls' first run for the title were household names that became known when they started winning? Facts. LeBron James fanboys, take note of that. Winning makes all the difference. Winning makes all the difference. He says, remember in The Last Dance, Jordan saying that how the league looked at him as the best, most feared player in the league. So if he came at his teammates in practice as that guy, who were they supposed to be afraid of? That guy was their teammate. LeBron arguably was never that guy. He had moments, but he didn't dominate the league with the other great players he played against. So he decided to join up with them, create super teams. The fact that he doesn't take account for losses, but wants all the praise when he wins. Yeah, I mean, that sums up LeBron James right there. No accountability for losses, all the praise when he wins. But again, you live by the praise, you will die by the criticism. But yeah, this is facts. Shout out to @Dread for you with the $10 super thanks. This is facts. When you win, it changes all the perception. So when I hear LeBron James fanboys come and talk about, oh, he had Horace Grant, or he had Steve Kerr. Well, first of all, Michael Jordan was their leader. So again, Michael Jordan got the very best out of his teammates. That's first and foremost, is that these guys, like I said, these weren't household names. Pippen wasn't a household name. It took Pippen a few years of playing with Michael Jordan and getting pushed in practice before Pippen became somebody. But all of these guys, like, they were pushed in practice to be their very best. And honestly, this is the problem that I have with most of these modern superstars. I don't think any of them have that. Again, you know, I'm going to go off on a little side tangent. This is one of the things that I have with Jokic. And I like Jokic. But when people talk about Jokic has no help, I can understand you saying, oh, okay, well, his supporting cast didn't play well in the game, and that led to them not being able to win. Okay, but I look at it like this. I hold him accountable the same way I hold everybody else accountable. It's like, when your supporting cast is not performing, that's on you as a leader. Because it's not like you don't have a supporting cast that doesn't have the talent. And when I hear people try to say Jokic doesn't have help, see, to me, this is what not having help means, is that you don't have the guys that actually have the talent. But Nuggets have plenty of talent. Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. and Murray, and they have plenty of talent. So to me, if your supporting cast isn't consistently performing to the best of their ability, well, that's on you as the leader to figure out how to get them to do that. That's on you as a leader to figure out how to get them to play to their very best every single time. That's on you as a leader to figure out how to do that. So, you know, and I hold everybody to that same standard. So it's like, you know, to me, it comes back to you as a leader. So yeah, but you know, when you are a great leader and you do get your teammates to play to their very best and you start winning, well, everybody gets elevated. That's how you get people talking about, oh, well, he had Steve Kerr and he had Horace Grant. He had Bill Cartwright. This is how you get people saying that, because they won. And they won because Michael Jordan pushed everybody to be their very best at all times. But anyway, shout out to @Dread for you. Thank you so much for the $10 super thanks. And thank you so very much for supporting the channel. All right, we're getting close to the end, people. This is a long one today. Next up, shout out to @TheRealSiberius. This is coming from my LeBron's excuse for not taking the last shot. He comes through with the $2 super thanks. He says, they say that failure builds character and you learn more from losing than from winning. LeBron has proven both of these sentiments to be terrible lies because he has absolutely no character and has learned nothing. His self-aggrandizing is not only pathetic, but abhorrent. Yeah, that's saying that failure builds character and you learn more from losing. I think more appropriately is failure exposes what your character is. I don't, when they say failure builds character, I think that's false. I think it exposes your character. And if your character is that of overcoming, then failure is going to be something that you learn to overcome. But if your character is that of making excuses and learning to take shortcuts, then that's what failure is going to expose about you, thus LeBron James. This is what we have. This is who LeBron James is. This is why failure didn't make him better, because failure doesn't make you better. It simply reveals what your character is. If you are a person who is about overcoming, it is going to reveal that about you. If you are a person who is about excuses and shortcuts, it is going to reveal that about you. And, I guess really it's enough said right there. Shout out to At The Real Siberians. Thank you so much for the $2 super thanks. Thank you so much for your continued support of the channel. Next up, shout out to At All Day 2691. Coming through with the $2 super thanks, and this is coming from the same video of LeBron's excuses. He says, "Hey fanboys, leadership is not about being the best. Leadership is making everyone else better." Facts. Facts. And in some cases, the leader can be both. The leader can be the best and and great at making everyone else better. But yeah, the act of leadership itself is who can get the team to its optimum level. Whether that person is the most skilled on the team or not, the best leader on the team is who can get everyone playing to their optimum level. Facts. Shout out to At All Day 20691. Thank you so much for the $2 super thanks, and thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel. Next up, shout out to At G the Great One. This is coming from my Michael Jordan coming back to the NBA video. He says, "The NBA has been trending downward in popularity ever since Jordan retired, so it's only right that they bring back MJ to save the NBA. It took the NBA a couple of decades to realize that promoting LeBron as the face of the league was the wrong idea. Shaking my head. The man has the 2 lowest rated finals series since the merger for a reason. I laugh when people say that LeBron is the only thing the NBA has to promote, and once he retires, the ratings are going to fall. Newsflash, they can't get much worse than they already are. The NBA has done a terrible job of promoting anyone not named LeBron. That's one of the biggest problems. The puppets who call the game and work on the sports shows work for someone, meaning they take orders and can be given orders. For some strange reason, they are not being given orders to pivot off of LeBron and begin to praise guys like Giannis, Jokic, and Tatum. I feel like they only show support for SGA when it comes time to downplay Jokic. Maybe since MJ is coming back, they can officially begin to phase LeBozo out. I honestly don't mind if LeBron plays a few more years because he is only continuing to ruin his legacy more and more. His lowlights are hilarious. I just wish the commentators would call it like it is. Salute to Uncommon and keep bringing the content coming. Shout out to At G the Great One. Yeah, I mean, we all know that, again, the ratings, when Michael Jordan retired, the ratings went down. They never, ever recovered. But the thing that I can't fathom is why it took the NBA so long to understand that if you want the ratings to go back up, then you have to go back to doing the things that were being done when the ratings were at its highest. Now, mind you, Michael Jordan is not playing the game of basketball, so the ratings will never be what they were in the 90s. But if you go back to reporting on the game like they used to, if you go back to allowing physical play, if you somehow get these teams to stop taking so many threes, because this is ridiculous, people. I got to the point to where I don't even know if I want to watch any more of the playoffs. I'm sure I'll watch the finals when they happen. But yeah, these 3-pointers just upset the balance of the game so much that there's no consistency in the game. Again, how many teams lost home games like within the first 2 games? The teams that had home court advantage. This season, how many of those teams lost? It's like almost home court advantage didn't really mean anything. How many blowouts have we seen in these series? Again, this is because these teams are living and dying by the 3-point shot, and it is highly annoying basketball to watch. It's like the effect of them allowing some physicality, I feel like, kind of has quickly worn off, because again, it drives me crazy when it's like, okay, we're down by 5 points. We chuck up some threes. Oh, now we're down by 10 points. Let's keep chucking up threes. Oh, we're down by 20 points. Well, I think the solution is keep chucking up some threes. This is completely ridiculous. But anyway, yeah, the ratings have been down. And like I said, to me, I can't fathom why it takes you so long to be like, well, we could go back to doing what we were doing when the ratings were at its highest. Like, stop trying to reinvent the wheel. If it's not broke, don't fix it. It's like, stick with what is working. But greed is normally people's downfall. It's been LeBron James' downfall this year. But anyway, shout out to @G_the_Great_1. Thank you so much for the $2 super thanks. Thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel. And last but not least, shout out to @ShiftingToSuccess. This is coming from my LeBron's excuse for not taking the last shot video. He says, what's up, Uncommon? Yo, LeBron got to stop lying about that being taught to play the right way BS, because flopping, traveling, and constantly complaining to the refs like a petulant child is not playing the right way, and he knows this. And to see Steve Trash sit there and co-sign all that BS lets me know everything I need to know. Thank you for the great content, bruh. All of us in the anti-4 and 6 kingdom people appreciate it. Shout out to @ShiftingToSuccess, a fellow percussionist. Thank you so much for the $10 super thanks. And yeah, I mean, that's facts. When LeBron is sitting up here talking about play the right way, it's like, LeBron, yeah, are you talking about the flopping and traveling and poor fundamentals? Or is that what you mean by play the right way? Or you simply mean the excuse you're making to relieve yourself of accountability and responsibility for being a superstar on a team and being able to bring the game home when it needs it? But yeah, you know, this is LeBron James is exhausting. The 4 and 6 kingdom, you guys are exhausting. It is really exhausting to try to get in the mind of a LeBron James fanboy and find any kind of sign of logic, any sign that logic exists in your brains at all is an exhausting thing. But yeah, thank you all so very much for your continued support of the channel. I truly cannot thank you all enough. And this video has been long, but I just want to say one more thing. And it's about the leadership thing. You know, and it's kind of like I was saying this about Jokic, but like I said, I feel this way about, I don't think there are any good leaders in this modern NBA. And that's what I mean by that is like doing whatever it takes to get the best out of your team. Like, we got some people that play hard. I know it's people that like Giannis, but it's like Giannis is like, if you are not getting, it's not good enough just to be great yourself. It's not good enough just to play hard by yourself. Like, if you as a leader cannot maximize your teammates, and this is what we're going to see about OKC. You know, I feel like, again, this is where a lot of people are getting exposed. You know, it's like, I know a lot of people thought OKC was just kind of going to run through the playoffs, and it's not been the case. Again, partly because it's this live and die by the three kind of thing, you know. But again, to me, if OKC doesn't win, this falls on SGA. This falls on Shai Gilgeous, because again, it's like, yeah, you're great, but what are you doing to maximize your teammates? And to me, there's no excuse for not doing it as the star of the team, because if you want to be mentioned with the greats, that is what all the greats have in common. That is what your Michael Jordans and Kobe's and Birds and Magic and all these guys, Bill Russell, this is what they had in common, is that they knew how to get the best out of their teammates. It's like, and it wasn't all of it. Like, there's different ways to do it. You just have to figure it out. Like, I just did a video a few months ago where Magic Johnson was on Byron Scott's podcast, and he was talking about the way they didn't trash talk the other team. They trash talked each other. Like, Magic Johnson would, you know, go to Kareem and say, hey, such and such said he was going to drop 30 on you tonight. What you going to do about that? You know, they would trash talk each other, and that's how Magic motivated his team, by trash talking them and saying, you know, they better get back on other players. You know, there was clips from the Dream Team where we saw Magic Johnson doing this, where you know, Barkley scored on Drexler, or not Drexler, but Karl Malone, where Barkley scored on Karl Malone, and Magic Johnson was like, hey, you better get him back. You better get him back. Don't let him do that to you. And so this was Magic's way of leading and getting the best of his teammates, you know. And so it's like, it's different ways to do it, but you can't escape it. If you want not just one championship by happenstance because you happen to have the correct team at the correct time, and you know everything lines up for you to get that championship. And again, to me, Giannis's one championship is greater than all LeBron's championships in my eyes. But if you want to have a shot at two-peating and three-peating and forming a dynasty, that only comes from having a leader that figures out a way to get the best from their teammates each and every night, and there's no escaping it. So, you know, this is the standard that all of these guys have to be held to. So, you know, when I hear, you know, this person ain't got enough help, all I hear is you hadn't found a way to get the best out of your teammates. Yeah, you may be playing great. That's wonderful, but that's only half of it. If we're talking about being one of the greats, a superstar, if we're talking about being compared to the greats, then this is also a requirement for that, is you figuring out how to be a better leader. But anyway, thank you all so very much for your continued support of the channel. I truly cannot thank you all enough. And as always, like I said, keep supporting all the channels that give you the real. Shout out to Angry Old Hoops, Sports and Fitness, Rats, Phenomenal Fitness, Uncut Hoops, 93 Zay, Man Down Sports, Sports T. Who else am I missing? I'm drawing a blank right now, people. This has been a long video. But you know all the normal suspects of the people who are giving you the real. Ticket TV, Too Raw for Sports, Dreamers Pro, and all those guys. And anybody who I forget, please drop them in the comments so that people can give them a follow. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about any of the things that we talked about today. You all have a truly fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.